So
Okay,
today we're going to learn how to deploy a website on Netlify. Uh, let's see. I'm trying to share my screen.
Morning, guys. Hello, can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Okay,
yes, sir, we can hear you.
good, good. I think, Simon, before we start, just wait a few minutes so that we can wait for a few members to join. We are 10. I know I want at least half of the class, so we can just wait, say hi to one another. Um, we are almost 90 people. So if we can reach 30, then good. Because I want, maybe we can just give a few minutes for some guys to chip in.
Okay.
So maybe we can be sharing. Let me see. Most of the can see most of the colleagues here are quite new. Mona Lisa. Normally, I know my student names. Looks like I most of the colleagues are apart from I think Shadrach. I know Shadrach, but I hope we shall get to know um, one another going forward because it is important. I make sure that I keep track of everyone and their progress because it matters. That's why I don't like numbers um, that are just numbers without learning does not actually make sense. So that's why it matters to me most to make sure that I get to know my students' names. I keep following up, etc. Marvin, do I teach you Marvin? Right.
Yes, you teach me.
Data structures?
Yes, I'm doing DIT.
Oh, I think I haven't known you yet physically. I see you active. Well done. Um, uh, words.
But you'll get to know me. I'll make sure you know me.
Okay, awesome. Titus has joined. Okay, maybe we can use this time. You guys can be free to share what you expect, what so far you have learned. For the time being, you've been a group. Yeah, your expectation is because at the end of the day, I always want to make sure that my input, reflects your expectations. When you're feeding um, on purpose or you are doing things on purpose, then it means that you are, you're sure of what the results will be because you're really hitting, the main points. Okay, so maybe you guys are in the group, you're expecting things that I don't know, or things that I may not satisfy. So you guys can feel free to share, and I see how best can we deliver these stations. Huh? So please feel free to share. Don't shy away. The platform is yours now. Um, Natasha, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
Uh-huh. What do you expect? Um,
Okay, for me, I'm just new. So I would like more explanation because I'm new here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course, by being new, of course, there is also an as to why you said, you need to join this group. What motivated you to join the group? What do you want to see? So that's basically what I'm asking.
Okay, I have AIT, Bachelor of Science in AIT. So I joined this group so that I can learn more skills about IT.
Okay, awesome. Have you done any programming yet?
Yeah, I did C programming.
Okay, awesome.
Mm.
Kutesa, who is Kutesa? Kutesa Tendo. Uh,
Yes, good morning.
Good morning to you.
I'm the one who invokes as Jeremiah.
I teach you data structures, right?
Yes.
Okay. Um, what do you expect, Mr. Jeremiah? What do you know so far?
I did some programming in C at
Mm.
the university, but then personally, I'm more conversant with HTML, CSS, and now JavaScript. I'm just starting on React currently, and yeah, I expect to develop other skills apart from what I'm trying to achieve personally.
Okay. See if I think I just chose Sifa joining. Sifa. Where are you, Sifa? Is she on call? Yes, Sif. Looks like you have a network issue. You're breaking. Can you hear me well?
Yes,
Uh-huh. So you told me you are developing, what basically were you developing? Were you using just PHP to develop a website? Just want to really understand what you're doing.
now I was using JavaScript and CSS.
Plus, plus HTML, right? Oh, okay. Looks like she has network issues.
I,
Um, you can type, in case you have, you're breaking down, you can just use the chat. Just type that the message. I'll be able to follow up and see. The reason as to why I'm asking, you guys these questions is because I want to, follow up on each one's, progress. It's not just a matter of I've joined the academy. No, you must be doing things. If, for example, we hold this session and we are saying we are taking 1 hour, 1.5 hours, you must learn something. You must implement. So it is to your benefit at the end of the day. Don't just sit in the group and say I'm part of the group and yet you're not learning anything. So that's what I'm against. Miracle and your group. Where is Julia? Where is where is Medi? Where is So, Miracle, tell me about your progress. Progress is more important to me. So, tell me how far you've gone. What kind of progress have you done so far?
Good morning.
Morning.
I've been working on a few things here and there. Mainly back in technologies because I realized I need more of that. So um I did Python. I've been doing JavaScript at some point. Um, I've been doing a Flutter. So yeah, I'm still trying to figure out everything that I need before I venture into something that I'm going to be doing in the future.
Okay, awesome. That's good. Looks like you're on path. I always want to see progress. What do I mean by progress? Sometimes you can talk. I haven't. I don't know if it's true or not. So always feel free, like we used to do when you guys were designing your portfolios and all that. Feel free to share your GitHub links. Feel free to share your web links in case you've deployed your app, because I'll be able to look through maybe and advise. Okay, because I believe from my experience, I maybe I can advise here and there based on what you've written as your source code. So that's why I'm saying, keep sharing, keep sharing, keep sharing. And this is very important. The other purpose of this group is that from you, I want to groom, leaders who will take on the challenge of mentoring other guys. For example, this session is going to be conducted by one of your own, who joined when you guys were joining, and now is the one going to take us through this session. So I want next time, maybe, actually, particularly in this month, I believe most of the sessions will be conducted as I chip in, but I think I've scheduled so far 2 individuals who will be teaching you Java and developing RESTful APIs in Spring Boot, and then also Next.js. So please, also learn with that attitude. Okay, can I be the next person who can mentor the next guys or the next generation? It should not stop with you. I was telling some class that most of you, you're selfish. They ask you, what are you learning? You say, I want to be rich. So rich you honor you. But if I mentor you and you guys become better and you earn, that's impact. That's what I want, So always have that mindset, impacting people around you, not just you or your family members, but the society, because we need leaders. We need leaders in different fields, academia, politics, wherever. When you look at the problems that we have now, you really see that we are short of leaders. You see the people who are leading us, and you ask yourselves, are these leaders? So as the youth, we must prepare ourselves to make sure that we take on the mantle for the next generation, and we make sure that we pass it on. If I have the knowledge and I know I have this Next.js, I know Python, that's why I'm saying, can I gather these guys? I pass on the knowledge from me to them, so that at least for the next generation, we have people like us who will continue doing the impactful work. That's basically me what I want. Sometimes most people, I was asking someone in this class, and someone said me, you know what, I just want money. So he's just focusing on himself, and sometimes it's not good. Okay, it's not good. Even when you look at God's work, or Jesus Christ's work, it was all about winning souls for the God's kingdom. So he was not working actually for himself. He was working for God, as a son of God, who was sent by his father. The man worked to win souls for God's kingdom, not for himself. So that's basically the concept. Let's work together, work hard, be a leader. Let's keep on, because I want even this group to stay, even when I'm no more. Okay, even when I am busy, I want you guys to be engaged. I want guys to be on board teaching you this and this. So next time I want to, the session should be, for example, conducted by Sifa, who says, you know what, let me teach these guys some concepts maybe in C#, so that they can pick one or two. That's basically what I want. You're not going to see my face here now and then. Very soon I'm going to be engaged. So, but I expect out of you to emerge leaders and to take on the mantle. So please be serious with the work. Okay, I believe we can start. 20 people. Mr. Shadrach is saying that I can make a good pastor. Leave me, Mr. Shadrach. Okay. So Simon is one of your own. Actually, he's doing computer science. Is it first year, second year?
Second year now.
Second year, very good. But he's very good. I can tell you, he's very good. I'm working with him in my company. For those people who didn't know, he's doing wonderful work. He's actually now, trying to, he's good to an extent that I saw he's passionate. I made sure he has access to my repositories or my GitHub account or our GitHub account, where we have different projects. So he has access to everything. He has access to our servers, because that's how I've trusted him. So why I've done that is not because I can't, for example, do things myself, or what, because I know when he learns stuff, he can benefit, because I've seen his passion, and therefore he can also use this opportunity to make sure that he grows some of the, other leaders who can step in. So it's like passing on the, the role to other young people. Even though I'm still, young a bit, though I'm aging, I'm about to retire, just like I was saying in my previous classes. But I'm saying that can we pass on to the next generation? Yeah. So Simon, is that good? I showed him that he's the one who refactored our, the AgriX app website. So and what I liked about Simon is this, that I wanted him to learn Next.js. The website which I refactored. For now, let me just square my screen. Okay. You can just navigate to it. Put AgriX app. You're the one who designed. So he's the one who refactored the website to look like this. And what is interesting is that in the first place, he didn't know the technology that he used or we used to develop, to rebuild, or to refactor this website. He didn't know. He said, I don't know Next.js. I said, no, Simon, you will learn. I trusted him because I knew in tech, in this IT industry, once you have the passion, you can do anything. You can do anything. So he was able to produce this one in 1 week, even though he didn't know Next.js. And so that's the category of people I want, okay? That have the passion to learn and invest in the time. You will find Simon at 1 a.m. working, or sometimes 7 a.m. the guy spends the entire night, but working. That's why I was saying I can trust this guy. He's already working on some of our clients' work because I have seen he's passionate. He produced some website in just a week. And so if the client pays, it becomes very easy for me to say, you know what, get this, you're paid because you actually did the work. So out of you, you don't know, I can take some of you, you don't have very many projects. So, but I only do that when I see that you guys, you have the passion, you're learning, just like Simon, okay? So I needed to put that one across. Don't play around these things. Make sure, learn to your benefit. Yeah, and be better, So I believe, Simon, you're ready to to share. Please make sure that you can record this session. I only see 21 people, yet in the group there are 89. So please make sure that you've tested the recorder, it works, so that the entire session can be recorded, and we shall upload it on our platform, on our YouTube platform or channel later on, so that for the people who have missed, they can follow along. So please, you can start the session.
Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Simon. I'm a computer science student at Isbeth University. So today's session will be about deploying a website on Netlify. Okay, I hope you can hear me. Hello?
Yeah, we are hearing you, man.
Okay, so we're going to deploy two types of websites. One in pure HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and another one will be in a framework like Next.js or React. So we're going to start with pure HTML. So this is my folder, and this is the HTML file. Make sure your HTML file is named index. Okay, not your name, not anything. At least your home page should be called index. It's very important when you're deploying. Okay, so I'm going to go to the Netlify website. You just Google it. Then you go to the website, the first link you see. Then you're going to come here. If you don't have an account, you're going to click sign up. Okay, then you sign up with your GitHub. In case you don't have a GitHub account, you create one. Then you sign up with GitHub. I already have an account on Netlify, so I'm going to log in. I'm going to log in with GitHub. I'm going to continue in my account. Okay, so this is the dashboard. I don't have any website deployed right now. This is the first thing you're going to see after you sign up. You're going to see the exact same dashboard. Okay, so the first method to deploy an HTML website is manually, as they can say here, deploy manually, and that is by dragging and dropping the folder, which I'm going to do first just to show you guys. Okay, so you drag and drop the folder. Okay, this is inside the folder, but you drag and drop the parent folder. Okay, and you drag and drop it here. Give it some time as it's uploading, and deploy successful. I can dismiss. Then I can press open, production, deploy, and it will take me to the HTML website I've deployed. I hope you guys are following. I'm not going too fast. You can tell me to slow down. So that is the first method, using the drag and drop. Okay, so I'm going to go back here. There is like a navigation sidebar. I'm going to go to sites, and now the site is there. At first I didn't have any site, but right now I have a site. Okay, now the next method, which is also the professional method, is to use Git. And to use Git, you can open your IDE or your text editor that you use. I'm going to open mine. I use VS Code. Don't worry about this step. This is just a shortcut to open my editor within this folder. I'm just going to close this. Okay, so this is our HTML file, the one I've just deployed. Okay, this is the one I've just deployed. So to use Git, you're going to need a terminal. I think most IDEs right now have terminals. In case you don't see a terminal and you're using VS Code, to open a terminal, you can come right here. Okay, I hope you're seeing this icon in VS Code. In case you're using a different IDE, I think the terminal will be there down by default. But if you're using VS Code, there's an icon here you can press, and it should give you the IDE. Let me see. So yeah, this is some old work. Anyway, when you open your terminal, again the icon is here, or you can use Ctrl+J. Okay, now the very first thing you're going to do in your terminal, assuming you've opened it, you're going to initialize Git. Okay, you're going to initialize Git. That is the very first step you should do. If you do not do this step, then no other Git commands won't work. So it's very, very important. Okay, we have initialized Git. You need it will tell you when you have done it. Then I'm going to run git status. This will show us the changes that have not been pushed to our GitHub. Yeah, these are the changes, our images and our index file. Then I'm going to simply add them. Let's move this out of the way. And I do so by writing a git command called git add. Now I can go one by one. Or I can just use a full stop to mean all. Git add everything. If I run the other command, git status again, now these changes are being tracked. Then I'm going to commit them with a message. I'm going to write first git deployments. Git commit is like where it's like putting a caption on the changes you're pushing to your GitHub, so that next time maybe when you're going through the changes you made, you know exactly what you did. Okay, so in case you make a change, you always write a commit message so that you know exactly what that change is about. Press enter and everything is there. Now in order to push this code to my GitHub, I have to first create a Git repository. So I'm going to go back in my browser. In this new tab, I'm going to go to GitHub. Please sign into your GitHub accounts. Okay, when you have signed into your GitHub accounts, there is a link here that says new. Basically, it's a new repository. So you press new. It's going to take it to another page, and this is where you give your repository name, the name about your website or your project. This one I'm going to call it Netlify demo 1. I'm not going to write a description, it's optional. Yeah, I'm going to leave everything the way it is, and I'm going to create the repository. Okay, now I've created my repository. Here we're given a few commands which we can run, but I want to go step by step. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change my branch name to main. By default, in our terminals, our branch is called master. You can check your branch name by writing a git command called git branch. It will show you what branch you're currently on with the star. So here it's saying I'm on the branch master, but GitHub's default branch is main. So I'm going to change my branch name to match that of GitHub's, so that when I push this code, it goes to the main branch, or the default branch for GitHub. If I push using the master branch, or if I don't change the name, then GitHub will create a separate branch for the master, for this one, and the code we push won't actually go to the default. It will have to be merged later. So for simplicity, I'm going to change the branch name to master, and you write this command git branch hyphen capital M and the name of the branch, which is main. It's a simple command, and I press enter. No error. If I run the previous command git branch to check what branch we're on, it should now say main instead of master. Okay, which means now I'm on the main branch. Okay, now the next step is now to connect our local repository to the one on GitHub, or like from my local machine to the one on GitHub. To do so, we're going to write a command called git remote add origin. Now origin is a placeholder name. It can be anything. It can be a name or anything, but the standards is origin, which are going to find everywhere. Then the next thing to put is this URL that they give us, this URL that you will see, which I'm going to copy, and I'm going to come back in my terminal, and I'm going to paste. So now this is the full command: git remote add origin Again, this is just like a placeholder or a variable. You can think it of as a variable that is going to store this URL. Okay, then I'm going to press enter. No error. Now, to how do you know that it has been successful? You check if it has connected by running git remote hyphen v. Okay, git remote hyphen v. This is how you check if it has been like connected. And as you can see, we have origin and the URL. So now I know when I push this code, it's going to go to this URL, which is my GitHub repository, the one I've just created. Okay, so the next step now is to push my code to get to the GitHub repository. I do so by saying git push origin, the name we first gave it. If you gave it a different name, then you should use that name. I gave it origin, so I'm going to use origin. So git push origin, and then the branch you are pushing to on GitHub, and I'm pushing to the main branch on the GitHub repository. So this is what the command looks like: git push origin main. Again, origin is just this name we gave earlier. Then I press enter.
Simon, after that, thank you very much, Simon, thus far. Marvin has a question. I think you can let him ask. He's saying that once you go past that, maybe it would have, I believe it will not make sense. I believe he can go on and ask you whatever question he wants to ask.
Yes, you can ask.
Yes, Mr. Simon, sorry to interrupt.
It's okay.
But there is that part where you have written git remote, and then there is that last link you have added.
Yeah.
After origin, that URL.
Yeah, this URL.
Exactly that one. Yeah. So my question is, what exactly is that?
This URL, it's right here. Like after creating our GitHub repository.
Yes.
Right? If it's empty, you're going to have this exact setup, but a different URL link, of course. Everyone's going to have their own.
Yes.
So this URL, this link, is what is going to connect like our terminal, our local terminal
to the GitHub repository.
Yeah, so that we can push our code to GitHub.
Okay.
From within our editor, so we don't need to switch windows and all that. We can just do everything from here without opening a browser or anything.
Okay, now I get you.
So that's
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's what the link is for.
In short, it is the URL for the GitHub repository.
Yeah,
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so when I entered git push origin, because I already committed this code, if you have to remember, I already added and committed. So when I run this command git push origin main, we are pushing these changes that I committed. Okay, I hope you're getting me.
Yes, I'm following.
Yeah, so now I have pushed my HTML code plus the folders, everything. So now if I come back to this repository, I'm going to refresh. If all went well, then I should see my deployed work, my pushed work. I'm going to refresh, and sure enough, it's here, my index file and my image folder. Now the next step is to connect my Netlify to GitHub so that we can deploy through GitHub. So I'm going to go back to Netlify, okay? And in Netlify, again on that sites page, the sites tab, you should see a link that says, or a button that says add new site. Okay, at first we deployed manually where we did drag and drop, but now because we're using GitHub, we're going to say add new site. So I might come here, add new site, and you're given a few options, and you're going to import an existing project. The reason why I'm importing an existing project is because we have already pushed the code, so it exists, it's just not connected. So we're going to import an existing project, and here you're given options, and we're using GitHub, so I'm going to choose GitHub. As they say, let's deploy your project with GitHub. Then it's going to open up another window. It's going to ask you to authorize. I'm going to continue with my account, my GitHub account. Give it some time. Okay, now it's going to ask me to install Netlify, so my GitHub. You have two options here: all repositories or only select repositories. I would recommend you to choose only select repositories, so that it's not connected to all of them. You allow it to connect to the ones you want it to connect, so that it doesn't have access to all the repositories you have. So I recommend this option, only select repositories. Okay, so I'm going to come down here where it says select, and I'm going to select that repository that I've just created, which is called Netlify. Looks like I have two. Let me go capital N. Yeah, this one. So this is now the GitHub repository we just created a few minutes back. I've selected it. You make sure you select the one you want to deploy. Okay, then you come down and you press install, or you click install. I don't have my phone with me right now, so I'm going to use password. Confirm. And now I should see the GitHub repository here showing. Okay, my HTML site is showing, and I'm going to click it. Okay, team name, site name. Now this is where we give it a name. I'm going to just try to name it the exact same thing we had. Netlify demo 1. Check availability. Okay, it's taken. Sometimes the name might be already in use, so I'm going to try to make it unique. I'm going to say PivoSoft demo 1. Check. Okay, the site name is available. Then you're going to scroll down. I advise you to leave the rest the way they are, except this one in case you're deploying from a different branch where main is not your default. But since we didn't create any other branches, I'm going to leave everything the way it is. Okay, and I'm just going to click deploy, then our site name, Netlify PivoSoft demo 1. Click deploy. Give it some time. As you can see, say deploy in progress. It's building. Uploaded, published. Okay, now this is our link that we can share in the group. If I'm to click this link, it should take me to that exact same HTML page we saw earlier. And yeah, we have deployed an HTML website to Netlify. Now I can share this URL in the group. This is the URL you will be sharing after deploying. This is the exact link you'll be sharing. So that is how we deploy an HTML website using GitHub. If I come back to sites, we should now see that site, which is here with our site name. So the first one we used manually by dragging and dropping, and this one we have used GitHub. So that is how you deploy an HTML website. I hope you guys are following before I go to in the frameworks, the Next.js and React.
Yes, we are following.
Okay, so I hope you have understood that one. So I'm now going to do the exact same thing, but with a website that was built using a framework. For this example, we're going to use Next.js.
Simon, thank you very much. Just for this, before he proceeds to Next.js app deployment, if anyone has a question, please feel free to ask, because I believe maybe if there is any and you want to understand something out of what he has done, I think you can ask now before he proceeds to the Next.js app deployment. If there isn't, then he can proceed.
Yeah.
Maybe let me ask one question.
Okay.
So, if I'm right, you've said we have deployed our HTML website, right?
Yeah.
Is it only for HTML, or because I'm seeing you're talking about Next.js, the frameworks now? Is it something different?
Not really, because we are going to use GitHub. So it's the same way, just because in Next.js or when you're using a framework, sometimes you have to first test before you actually push your code.
Okay.
Yeah, so that might be the only difference, but the rest might be very similar.
It's okay, you can carry on, please.
Hold on, I have one question. Like, if you have little knowledge or you don't even have any knowledge about HTML, so how can you actually get help from here? Should we, like, basically, should someone contact you or Mr. Darlington?
You can contact any of us, or you can ask for help in the group. We shall help each other.
Okay, thank you.
Alright, any other questions?
For purposes of Titus, you can go first.
Sorry for that. Now, for me, my question is, like when I'm creating that account on Netlify, there is where they ask you how are you planning to use Netlify? You go personal, school, work, client. What do you do? Like
Personally, I
I
chose
need just an
students.
assistance on that step.
Personally, I chose students.
The best would be student, since you're a student, Titus. Yeah, you can choose student.
Sorry for interrupting. What
Student,
Netlify about? Because this one I came after you. Yes, talk about it.
I can't hear you.
My question is, I came in when I just explained about Netlify. What is it all about? Because I came in actually using it.
Netlify is like a web hosting platform where you'll be deploying websites that you have built in your code base. I don't know if you understand that.
So you deploy for the public to use or something else.
It can be for the public, it can be for private. It can be any that you wish.
So it's basically where you deploy what you after finishing your website. That's why you deploy it.
Yeah. Or you can use any other
Okay.
hosting platform that you prefer. But
Okay.
today we're going to be using Netlify. Okay, is that all?
on the first step, I'm just asking. On the first step, I go personal or school, work, client, like
You go school.
I go school.
Yeah.
Then is there a way you can For example, what kind of site do you want to build first? You can select multiple choices, or it should be one.
I don't really understand that question.
You know, when you're filling an account, when you're creating an account on Netlify,
Mm-hmm.
there is when you sign in with GitHub, it brings you a sign up form. For example, it says, "Nice to meet you. Let's get acquainted," right? Then what is your name? You put first name, last name. Then how are you planning to use Netlify? Like you said, I say school. Now, when you put in school, it brings you some other options. That what kind of site do you want to build first? We have documentation, school project, personal site, company site, app, web3, e-commerce, blog, games, something else. So you go multiple choices or you choose one.
Mr. Titus, sorry to
Yes.
interrupt, but I think when you're creating an account, just
Mm.
follow the easiest way you can go. If it's student, go with student, school,
Okay.
personal,
Mm.
or portfolio. Any, I don't think it really matters at this point because
Okay.
yeah, we are just going through the same process. Get it?
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Then we can also do that later because it's really interrupting the session.
Okay. Fine. Thank you.
Yeah, I can guide you through if you want.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Simon, you can carry on, please.
Sorry for
Okay.
interrupting. One more question,
Okay,
please.
so we're going to go
So
next into frameworks. I'm going to close
let's
everything and I'm going to open my framework. Yeah, my framework folder. It's Next.js form, so this is the folder that I'm going to be using. Okay, don't worry about the code. This is just for deploying. Okay, I'm going to open up a new terminal. Okay, now if you're dealing with a framework like Next.js or React, okay, unlike the one we did at first where we had to initialize Git at first, most of the time when you're dealing with a framework, with one of these frameworks, Git is initialized by default, so you don't need to initialize it. Sometimes you may, but most of the time it's initialized by default. Okay, I hope you've all understood that word. So now I'm in my folder. So the very first thing you should do when you have created your React app and you're planning on deploying it, React to Next.js, is to first run a build to make sure you don't encounter any errors in deployment. Okay, so you run a build by writing npm run build. Okay, then you press enter, then it's going to run a build. If you have no errors, that means you can deploy this website or you can push the code. If you run into an error, then you have to fix your code before you can push it. So this is the very first thing you should do before you push your code. Okay, I've received no errors, so which means I can continue. Like I said, Git is initialized by default when you're dealing with these frameworks, so I don't need to initialize it. But in case you're dealing with HTML websites, then you need to initialize your Git because it's not done for you by default. Okay, so I'm going to run git status. Okay, I have run into an error. In case you run into an error when you're running a git command, make sure to first check your antivirus. Sometimes it can get in the way, and it happens to me a lot. Mine is on, so I'm going to turn it off for the meantime. So yeah, sometimes your antivirus might get in the way of your git commands. So I'm going to try to run that exact same command again. Alright, I think I deleted my git folder for this project, but by default yours will have initialized git. So because I wanted to start from scratch, I deleted mine, but by default yours is going to have it. So if I run that command again, all my gits, okay, all the untracked changes are here. So if you followed me when I was doing these commands for the HTML website, it's going to be the exact same thing. Okay, I'm just going to git add everything by writing a full stop, git add full stop. Don't mind these warnings. If I run git status again to check, they should now be green, meaning they have been added. Yeah, then I'm going to commit them with a message. I'm going to write first Next.js deployment, enter. Now if we run git status, we should see nothing, which means our code has been committed. Now I'm going to go back to my GitHub. These are the exact same steps we went through. Okay, sorry, I want to go back to that exact page so that you guys don't get confused. Yeah, so this is the page we started from. Again, you're going to press new. I'm going to create a new repository for that Next.js project. Give it a repository name. I'm going to call it Next.js Netlify demo. Description is optional. I might leave everything the way it is, and I'm going to create the repository. Again, we have our URL. I'm just going to copy it in Advance. Come back to my terminal here. Like I told you, the first thing you should do is to rename your Git branch, your branch from master to main, because by default it's master, and you check by writing git branch. That's how you check what branch you're on, as you can see on the master branch. But remember, GitHub's default branch is main, and when we push, at least for this example, we want to push straight to the main branch, or want to push to the GitHub's default branch. You can change it in settings. Okay, you can change your default branch in settings in GitHub if you feel like. Okay, so I'm going to rename my branch to main. These are the exact same steps we went through earlier. So now if I check again, I've renamed it. Now it's main, not master. Then the next thing I might do is connect my local repository to GitHub's, and you do so by writing git remote add origin, and then this is like a placeholder name or a variable. It can be anything, but this is the standard and the most used, and that URL that I've copied. If I press enter, no error. Now I need to confirm that it has actually connected, and you run so by saying git remote -, and v. So here it shows origin is connected to my GitHub repository URL. Then lastly, I'm going to push my code. Git push origin to the main branch of GitHub. Again, origin is this name that we gave it earlier. If you give it a different name here, then that's the name you put here. Enter. then it's going to push, and it has pushed. Now if I go back to my GitHub and I refresh, yeah, we have successfully pushed the code. Now I need to connect this GitHub repository to Netlify. So I'm going to go back to Netlify. Okay, on the sites tab, I'm going to go to add new websites, import an existing project. Let's deploy your project with, I'm going to choose GitHub, the exact same steps. It's going to ask me to authorize. I'm going to press continue with my account. Okay, now in case you don't see your repository, right, and you try to search, it's not there, you just come here where it says can't see your repo here. Okay, then you press configure the Netlify app on GitHub. So for our case, this is what we have to do since we're not seeing our repository here. So we're going to configure. Click that link, press continue with your GitHub account. Now you're going to scroll all the way down. Okay, when you're on this page, scroll down until you see select repositories. Okay, just scroll down until you see it. Avoid the danger zone. Don't do anything. Just come here where it says select repositories. Okay, I'm going to search for that exact repository we just created, Next.js, and it's here, Next.js Netlify demo. I'm going to select it. Okay, it's selected. Then I'm going to press save. Okay, I've saved. It has taken me back to Netlify, and now I should be able to see my repository, which is here. I'm going to click it. Now I have to give it a site name. I'm going to give it the exact name, Netlify. Next.js. Next.js Netlify demo. We're going to check for availability. Site name is not available. I'm going to try PivoSoft then. Check availability. Site name is available. Okay, so we can continue. Again, I might leave everything default, especially when you're dealing with frameworks, unless if you configured it differently. But if you did nothing and you're dealing with the defaults, then you should leave everything the way it is. Okay, again, be careful of the branch. If you created a different branch, then that's the branch you should choose. But we used main, we didn't create any other branch, so we're going to leave it the way it is, everything the way it is. Then I'm going to come to deploy, then our site name, Next.js Netlify PivoSoft demo. I'm going to click deploy. Give it some time. As you can see, site deploy is in progress. If you scroll down, it will give you actual feedback of what's happening. It's building right now. Just wait. This might take a bit longer than the HTML website because it has a lot to process and package and build. It's now uploading. Uploaded and published. Okay, our site is now live. I can check by clicking this link. and we have deployed a Next.js website. And it's the exact same step if you're using React. The way we deployed it's the exact same step. So whether you're using Next.js or React, the way to deploy is the same, unless you configure it differently in your configuration files. Otherwise the steps should be the same. Yeah, and in case you want to, let's say you want to change your site name, just go to site configuration, and if you scroll down a bit from site configuration, you should see change site name, and this is how you can change your site name to anything else. Okay, but I won't do that. I'm just, in case maybe you made a typo, in case you made a mistake when you're typing the site name, you can come here and change it. So if I come back to sites, this tab sites, yeah, our site is there, and it will tell you deployed with GitHub with Next.js. Yeah, and you can share this link in a group or with other people. And that is how you deploy a Next.js website. Also React. Any questions?
Yes, I have a simple question, please.
Yeah, ask.
So I realize you are cautious about the branch here in sites, the branch you are working on. For example, it was main.
Yeah.
So my question is, what if we have multiple developers and maybe they're adding features, or someone is fixing bugs, and obviously they are working on different branches. I assume they will have to create different branches for that, right?
Yeah.
So do they push all the changes? Do they commit the changes to the main branch so that you deploy the main, or they can individually do the same here for each?
No, so what they do is they push the changes to their branch, okay, the branch they're working on. Then they create a pull request, okay, a PR. They create a pull request. Then the supervisor or the senior who's in charge of the main branch reviews those changes and then pulls or merges those changes into the main branch. So for you, if you're working on a specific feature and you deploy the changes, you deploy those changes on your branch. Then if you want your supervisor or your senior to merge those changes into the main branch where the website is being hosted, you create a pull request. Then your supervisor will go through those changes and then merge them. So multiple developers don't push to main. There's usually like a senior who does that. So you create a pull request so that they can see those changes that you have pushed to your branch.
Okay, yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, any other questions?
My question is, I had you were talking about frameworks. Can I get a more explanation about that? What is the framework typically?
A framework, basically a framework is like a tool. I don't know how to explain it well. It's like a tool that enables you to do more work, but like in an organized way. For example, React or Next.js, instead of having like if you're dealing with HTML, if you're writing pure HTML, right, and let's say like you're writing a home page for that in HTML, you will end up having a very very long code base, right, or you'll have very long lines of code just for the home page if you're writing in pure HTML. But with a framework like React, you can break down that workload into components, whereby each component can be a section of your home page, just a section. The component can be like a card, like let's say one card. Then that card you can use that component multiple times to create other cards. So instead of rewriting your entire code, you can just use one component and then you pass in props and everything is done for you. There are front-end frameworks and there are also back-end frameworks like Django in case you're dealing with Python, Laravel in case you're dealing with PHP, Spring Boot if you're dealing with Java. So frameworks they come with, I don't know how to say, like they just simplify your work, and they usually come packed with features that you wouldn't get or that you'll have to manually do and create on your own if you're dealing with the pure language. I don't know if you ever tried to understand what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, now I can get it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, any other questions? Is that all?
Okay, let me ask. I was asking, is there like a way to try and like rename the link to suit the specific thing you have developed, something like that? Because I can see Netlify gives us a link like to share, but then like it does not have like maybe what I've developed. And what if I want it to have like a clue of what I've developed before they tap?
Like a description of your website. Because if you want to write a description, you do that in your code.
Not that. Okay, like you guys developed an agri app, so I'm like
You're
the
breaking.
link. Okay, what if I want maybe that like the link to be like agri? Okay, what if I want the link to have like the HTTP stuff, and but then some part of it has like agro something like what I've developed? Then is it
Well,
possible?
that is done in your code. That is done in your
Okay,
code.
thank you.
You give your, in case you're dealing with pure HTML, in your head tag, you can give it, it's called like metadata. You give it a meta tag, and then that meta tag will have like I think it's a type and content. Then the type can be like description. Then that description, you give it the content, then you describe. Yeah, so you do those descriptions through meta tags or metadata. Any other questions? I guess no more questions.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Simon, for this wonderful session.
All right, sir.
I hope most of the colleagues have learned from this session how to deploy an app using Netlify, and going forward, we are going to be using this platform to make sure that the work that I give you, you make sure that you deploy it with Netlify. I can see somewhere has already deployed the calculator, which is one of the projects that you guys were working on, or that you should work on, or that you're already working on. So I posted in the group an update where he deployed his calculator. So please keep practicing. We can all put the thumbs up for Simon, because I believe that most people have learned one or two things from this meeting.
Alright.
Okay, Kutesa, you can go on and ask. Kutesa first, I see. Kutesa's.
No, sorry.
Okay. Any question before we close off? Okay, thank you guys for coming through. I think Simon, you can stop the recording, and then we'll share the link later on in the group for those who have not attended to benefit from today's session as well. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. See you in the next session. Thank you very much, Simon. You have executed this work very well. Well done.
Okay, sir.